time to shake things up a little bit. We've got Venus and Mars coming into a square with Uranus, as well as some other things in this mixed bag in the first week of March. Let's check it out. All right, everyone. So the first week of March brings us a little bit of a mixed bag and a continuation of a lot of the themes that are already in place. So I just want to start the animation here with February 28th. We've got this double planetary cazimi. You can see Mercury and Saturn sharing the same degree as the sun. This is really huge. This is really huge. This is like the clarity coming off of the full moon, embracing some hard truths and disappointments, and finding the hope. Okay, we've got the sun moving into a sextile with Jupiter. We're gonna see that. Occur actually on March 1st. It looks like. So yeah, March 1st we get the sun in a sextile with Jupiter. So this is where we can move our chin up. This is like kind of a bummer full moon that we had. But at this point, we're starting to keep our eyes towards the skies and acknowledge the blessings. It's like the feel-good hormones that come in after the tears, so after the release. So the sun indeed rises again is kind of what this aspect reminds us of. Next, what we have is we have Venus coming into her square with Jupiter. So this is kind of like a two-part story. We have Venus, well, I'm sorry, I misspoke, not Jupiter, Uranus. So we've got Venus and Mars coming into a square with Uranus. So around the time of the Venus-Mars conjunction, they were closer in aspect with Jupiter. So I talked about how we might see acts of resistance, and goodness, with Jupiter involved, probably some big scandals in relationships, and also just challenging of social conventions. Things are tense out there. Like with that North Node in Aries, it's just like a lot of call outs. And yeah, things are not comfortable right now. There's like a lot of disagreements out there. And a lot of people I've been talking to have said like friendships and connections have fallen out. Like people are losing followers. Like there's a lot of, let's say, loss in terms of social connections that's kind of happening right now, or tension that is placed upon our social connections. And so right now, I think we're going to be seeing that play out even more. We've got Venus coming into her square with Uranus, and that's just like, I got to be authentic. I got to be me. I got to be free. And I'm just going to do it right now. I'm going to quit waiting for such and such to happen. There's a now quality to this. I also see the acts of resistance and rebellion coming into a higher frequency as we get closer to, let's see here, the 9th. The 9th is when Mars is going to come into the exact square with Uranus. This is kind of a volatile and just very impulsive, reactive energy, but because we're in a fixed sign, there's a controlled quality here. And so I think the brainy intellect of Mars in Aquarius, there's some sort of plan in order. There's like a plan of resistance here. There can be challenges to the ruling class, challenges to the ruling order. There can also be like this energy of just do it. There's a rebellious quality here. And Uranus brings elements that are previously like undiscovered. So like things that we haven't seen before. There's some kind of innovation, breaking of the status quo, breaking of some sort of stagnant thing. There's going to be some sort of liberation movement, some kind of action that's taking place here. So that's something to watch there. The other thing that is developing here, you can see I've got Black Moon Lilith up, is we've got the sun in the opposition to Black Moon Lilith. And I've been kind of paying attention to Black Moon Lilith ever since they try to take our healthcare rights away, our access to abortion for our health and everything like that, and choice also. Let's face it, choice. What Lilith represents is the wild, the primal, and the natural. And what happens when, and like the sun's opposition to Lilith can be an attempt to control, oppress, or extinguish burn or control? What is primal? What is natural? What is a basic human right? What is like a biological need, a biological mechanism? So there can be some sort of attempt to extinguish or limit or put out. So that's something that we want to watch. And I see that as being important because perhaps it could connect with Venus in the square with Uranus. So like there's some kind of extreme happening here. So I'm putting a lot of emphasis on liberation, but Uranus, it could just as easily, especially with Aquarius, be trying to impose some sort of oppressive ideological regime. So yeah, there will be some tension that's happening there, I feel. The last planetary influence that kind of adds to this week, the energy of this week, is Mercury in a conjunction with Neptune. So yeah, we've got Mercury in a conjunction with Neptune. That is primarily happening on March 8th. And this can just be a sleepy time. This Mercury in Pisces, especially with that conjunction with Neptune, that can be a really sleepy, foggy, just can't find the words, I don't have the energy, just total kind of space cadet kind of energy. But I also noticed that it's happening at the degree of Venus's exaltation. So this is like, could be a very idealistic, altruistic, loving, very compassionate kind of alignment of like envisioning and idealizing that's taking place. But if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling disenchanted, if you're having trouble focusing or finding the words, this is why. So this is kind of a good one to plan just like a do nothing kind of night, or just kind of see where the night takes you. Just one more thing I'd like to add about this conjunction is pay attention to what's coming up, because the Mars retrograde at the end of 2024, moving into 2025, is going to be a big story. And part of that moment, part of that Mars retrograde defining moment is right at the beginning of Mars's retrograde, there's going to be an opposition to Venus and 3 oppositions to Pluto, might I add. So at that time, Venus will be reuniting with Pluto. So keep that in mind, because things that are coming up right now around relationships and that sort of thing may end up being super important during Mars retrograde when there's a standoff between Venus and Mars. So pay attention to what's arising here in our relationships and in the collective, especially when it comes to finances and beauty standards. So that's a little bit about this first week of March, and I hope it's good for you, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Thanks so much for tuning in with me today. For more astrology in your world, you can connect with me on all platforms at Astro Catherine. You can also study astrology with me. The Foundations of Astrology course is an 11-week mentorship. It begins on January 25th. You can visit my website for more details, where you can also book your year ahead astrology reading with me, where we'll get into your personal natal chart, transits, progressions, profections, and the solar return. I look forward to connecting with you. Till next time. Bye.